What is up, fellow bench warmers? Welcome to your daily fantasy quickie. What's up, guys? It was Judgment Day of week. What week are we in? 13?
Week 13.
Week 13. Yes. Week 13. Judgment Day of week 13. And I'm your host, JJT with Kumish. Kumish, how did your week 13 look?
Bad. Very bad. I almost got a 0-9 actually. Luckily,
that was in our league, right?
Yeah, in our league. I was 0-9 for majority of the week.
Is that the Dynasty League?
No. The other league. The league where I have Lillard and company.
Yeah.
I was against the number one team in the league.
And I'm going to be against the number one team this week.
Yeah, I'm going to be against the number two.
The top two teams there are way ahead of everyone else.
Yeah, they're really strong. And although I was a couple of steals, a couple of threes, a couple of points away, so it could have been 4-5, it could have been 5-4. So it looked worse than what it was, but still not good. Not good.
Yeah, and on my end, it was I was quite happy that I won our Dynasty League, the matchup in our Dynasty League. Which is probably, my worst hit team when it comes to injury. I have Bam, I have Richaun Holmes. Well, Holmes played today, but
Bam tomorrow, so he'll be healthy.
Bam's gonna play. Lonzo was out. Caruso is out. I have those types.
Well, Caruso's coming back also, so I think your team is getting healthier.
Yeah, so hopefully, and I'm about 2-3 games away from the 6th spot. So yeah, hopefully I can still squeeze myself in there. And ironically, the other team, which is probably my stronger team, lost today. So but it's a combination of a lot of things.
I talked to the number one, the manager of the number one seed, and we talked about it. And his team, if you look at it, it's not really that strong. If you look at from top to bottom, he has lots of problems like Isaiah Stewart. He has lots of players who actually didn't play well this week, and he was still able to win 8-1. And we talked about it. And he got Nikola Jokic as a number one pick. Yeah. And as he said, it was a no-brainer. But I told him the second and third pick was LaMelo and I think was Zach LaVine. Yeah, he lost Zach LaVine even at the end of the week, and still he beat me 8-1. So I told him he nailed the first 3 picks basically. The Jokic, LaMelo, Zach LaVine, that was a very, very good combo. He got Terry Rozier somewhere in the 6th or 7th round, somewhere there. So he got a good build. If only Isaiah Stewart's playing better, he would have been a better team. But we're gonna be talking about these guys anyways. Isaiah later, maybe.
Well, we can kick off with Isaiah Stewart, I guess.
Okay.
But before that, let's go to the news because there's a lot of injury news as well today. Kevin Durant, as expected, out 4 to 6 weeks with the sprain.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it could have been worse. I mean, how do you now deal with Kevin Durant? I mean, obviously, 6 weeks is a lot of time. Let's put it on 6 weeks. I think 4 weeks is a little more conservative.
I feel like he could come back in 4 weeks. I really believe he can. Now, whether he will is another matter altogether.
Yeah,
he can, but he won't. That's what I think.
Yeah, especially if they keep that top 2, top 3 spots.
Yeah. I think they don't even care if they're. They don't even care if they're 4th seed or even the 5th seed or 3rd seed or whatever. I mean, maybe it might even be better if they're lower seeds so that Kyrie can play more games because they'll start on the road, right? I mean, just thinking out loud, it might not matter in the first round, but it's gonna matter maybe in the Eastern Conference Finals. Maybe if they're the 3rd seed, let's say, or semifinals, or the 3rd seed, Milwaukee's the 2nd seed. That's they gotta get Kyrie with more games, right?
Yeah, true.
So it's a weird situation. But how do you deal with Durant? I wrote that, maybe if you're number one, you try to buy low, maybe. I'm just saying out loud. Maybe the
Yeah.
owner of Durant is 8th or 7th, or I don't know if you're top 6 or top 8 in your league. Maybe he's fighting for playoff contention. Float the buy low offer. I really feel he's gonna be back. This is
How
different
low
from the
do you go
Lillard
though?
situation. That's the thing. For me, maybe even just a 3rd round guy or a 4th round guy.
I'm looking at
That's
maybe a Devin Booker would be,
yeah,
not too
something like
bad.
that. Something like that. It's really
Mitchell maybe, but
Mitchell, maybe not. I mean, Donovan is one of my feel good, and I was just saying that he's very underrated. But for me, a real 3rd round guy, maybe something like that, that make it worthwhile for you to take on the risk. I'm just counting that they said he might come back just after the All-Star break, which is February 24.
yeah.
So that's still week, I think 17, something like that, 17. That's a 2-week thing. So if your league starts on week 20, 21, there's still time. There's still time. So, maybe
Yeah.
desperate, the managers are desperate. Take advantage, maybe.
Or you can, wait a week or two maybe. A week or two if the manager drops a few spots,
True.
right? In a couple of weeks, he'll push, he'll be closer to pushing that panic button. Especially as we get closer to the playoffs. Like now, he probably won't agree to any deal. Even a 3rd round player, he probably won't
Yeah.
agree to that because it's still early. I mean, if he's like 7th, 8th, he'll try to see how this week goes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and test it out without Durant, and then maybe next week or the next 2 weeks, after 2 weeks, he'll make some moves, and you can just observe and see how that goes.
This is interestingly, this is the 3rd knee sprain, the significant knee sprain. Ja Morant, Anthony Davis, and Kevin Durant. So looking at what happens to Anthony Davis is very important because I think Davis's injury looked worse. Davis is, also as fragile as Durant. If he comes back at the 5-week mark,
well, I doubt. I don't think he's as fragile as Durant. I think he's more fragile than Durant.
Well, okay, but my point is if Durant if AD comes back around the 5th week mark, 5th week, I think Durant can probably be around that range also.
Yeah.
I think it's a very similar injury. I don't know if it's grade 2 or grade. They didn't say the grade level of the sprain though, so that's crucial. If it's grade 1, he can come back in 4 weeks. He can easily come back in 4 weeks. He can even come back in 3 weeks maybe. But if it's grade 2 sprain, that might be longer. So maybe more information maybe in the next few days we'll find out.
Kamish putting up his doctor's hat there. Other injury, DeAndre Ayton got injured again today.
Again. Yeah.
This is, closing in on a Jimmy Butler type of situation wherein he just can't get it going. I mean, at least he plays more games. And the injuries are, he's not gone for a long time. He usually isn't, out for a long time. Unlike, in the Jimmy Butler thing, it's like, seems like a long time before he comes back. Ayton, though, has had some, some surprising injuries here and there. You'll suddenly realize or know that he's out, and then went into COVID protocol, and then now
out again.
Yeah, out again with an ankle injury. He played today's game, so unlike the previous injuries wherein he was just suddenly ruled out due to an injury.
No. The first injury, he actually suffered it in a game. It was a leg contusion. He hit it in the game.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
The second one was
COVID. I think the second one was COVID.
Or another injury, I think.
Or maybe a minor. But the leg contusion one was the one that we were surprised took him a long time before he came back. We kept on being questionable. Today, the sprain wasn't really, a bad sprain. No, not like the Jimmy Butler kind of where he had to be carried off. He just, he walked off on his own. But doing some researching, there were pictures of him already in Instagram of Jay Crowder on crutches. So I don't know if that's, I don't know, they're trying to protect the ankle or whatever, or
Yeah.
it's really bad. So I don't know. But I think he might miss at least this week, right? So,
Yeah.
and given how slow he recovered the last time, he might miss games again. So that's bad.
Yeah. Well, if you are looking for a big, this is the guy. For me, I'm more enticed into getting Ayton because I think it's gonna be easier than maybe KD. That's
A
just me.
buy low. You mean a buy
Yeah,
low?
if you want to buy
Yeah.
low on any injured
Yeah.
player, you're at the top of the
Yeah.
standings, or you have some, leeway to take some risk. This is the guy I would probably try to get
Yeah.
over KD,
Yeah.
because KD is gonna be hard to get. I mean, I think managers of KD would probably ask for maybe at least a second rounder,
Yeah.
like
I agree. I agree.
Donovan or a Lamelo, or maybe someone within that range, right? But for Deandre, that's a lower ask for managers,
Yeah.
and especially with the frustration probably of some managers of his injury history so far this season. Yeah, so DeAndre Ayton will still wait. How long would that be? Draymond Green has been out. He's been a key part of Golden State, but fantasy wise, we don't care. What we care about is that he's out and he's not playing. Um, any news? A week or two still?
Two, at least 2 weeks. The news is
What's the injury?
it's a disc injury, the back. I think
Okay.
he suffered when he was the Clay comeback game. He said that
He was injured then.
In the warm-ups.
Yeah.
He was not injured. In the warm-ups, he felt tightness. I forgot if it's in the cuffs or whatever. So they took it precaution. They took precaution and he didn't play. Then they took an MRI and found out that what's causing it is the back, the disc, I think. Now it doesn't sound good. That's different. Now I don't have my doctor cap on there. I don't know much about back injuries yet, but especially after MPJ, or what happened to MPJ, that's never good. But they said at least 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it's just 2 weeks. I mean, they need him. They obviously will lose a lot of games with Draymond out, even if Steph plays or Clay comes back. So there's some urgency for Draymond to come back. I think hopefully he can come back in 2 weeks.
Yeah. So yeah, at least this Draymond is a lower end type of player, but still valuable. Myles Turner.
Yeah.
Myles Turner. What's up with Myles Turner?
A lot of people are asking me about what I think about Myles, and I told them what I know is what you know, that he has sore foot, and he's gonna go to a specialist for a second opinion. Whenever you think about second opinion, that means the first opinion was bad, right? I'm just telling them. I mean, I don't know anything about.
True. That's the reason why you get a second opinion.
Yeah, why are you gonna go for a second opinion if the
you
first
didn't
opinion
like the first one?
Yeah. So I told them, just be prepared. Be prepared for bad news because
for some reason I'm not surprised anymore. This is the way Myles has been every season. I think I mean, if you play fantasy long enough and you have Myles Turner, or you observe the trend about Myles Turner, he starts off strong, fades in the middle, and doesn't
then gets injured. And then gets injured and is out for the season. Yes.
Yeah, he'll have some good stretches in between those games. But yeah, always starts strong. And then doesn't really finish the fantasy season on a good note.
For clarification, we're not saying he's going to be out for the season. We're just talking about previously. Yeah.
In past years. And it's not like last year. Every year it happens. Something like this happens. And if you want to carry on to the next season, he recuperates and shows some video of him being fit and all, and then does it all again. It's a cycle for Myles Turner. So yeah, we'll see what the second opinions.
And though for Miles, that's why if he has some good games, it's good to sell high with Myles Turner. His rank is always top 20, even this year. Even
Yeah.
this year was he's not top 20, maybe top 30, but his rank is high.
Yeah,
So
because
you
of the
always can
blocks. We've
sell high.
always said
Yeah,
that.
yeah. You can always sell high. You can always justify it. Look at the rankings and stuff,
Yeah,
and get a
if you need
valuable player in
blocks,
return.
this is
Yeah,
your guy. If you need the blocks, right?
yeah. My
Given,
problem with Miles this year compared to previous years is even if the injury is not a serious one, Indiana is not going anywhere. I mean, I don't think they're really gonna contend. So the only reason probably he would want to come back is if they are trying to trade him.
yeah,
So if he comes back, don't trade for him. That's my advice, because maybe they're just showcasing him for a trade, and then when he gets traded to a team, the injury is worse than what it is, and then he gets shut down. I'm just
yeah,
speculating, but I'd not take the risk. Just Jeremy has already said very well. We have a past history with this guy.
yeah. So other worry players, of course, the injury are a worry, but I'm not sure what's worse. Players who are injured or players who are playing but are not performing. Um, what's more
Oh man.
frustrating? At least sometimes at least the players that are injured, they're not gonna play, right? So you don't really have to worry much about them. Those that are playing, uh, you know, it's really frustrating because like let's talk about Isaiah Stewart first. I mean, it's been a season-long frustration. To be honest, I've given up hope on Isaiah Stewart at least for this season. Um, Also, the reason why I tried to pick up some Kelly Olynyk along the way. Yeah,
Oh yeah. That's good. You mentioned Kelly. Kelly was actually
doubtful. He
cleared today.
was. Yeah, I think he was.
Actually, he was available today. I
Yeah,
just didn't see. He was not put in. Maybe they wanted to give him one more game. And talking about Stewart, uh, a lot of people keep on asking me about Stewart, and I keep on telling them, I think he'll bounce back. I think he'll bounce back. I think it's a buy low. But
no, I don't. I don't agree now. At this point, I've given up on him. I don't think he's gonna bounce back.
he will. He will. I still believe that there will be a stretch this season. He will be good, but your team might be out by that time. It might not. It might be
Like
week
my
20.
team.
It might be week 20, 21. It might be it might even just be the last 3 weeks of the season when the playoffs, when the fantasy playoffs are over. Maybe that, but he will get there. But yeah, I agree with Jeremy. Maybe what we want from him will not come this year. I mean, well, it's already week 13, right? So
Yeah, will not
basically
happen. I
week
mean,
14.
all the situation has been there for him. All the opportunities are there. Olinik goes down. Jeremy Grant goes down. What can you ask for, right? That's only
He's
him.
he's losing to Trey Lyles. I mean, that's all you can. That's all you need to know. I mean, Trey
My,
Lyles is
my take
outplaying him.
is maybe Isaiah Stewart is too young. Still, I don't think he's just a
But
sophomore. If you think about it,
but do you drop him though?
uh, um, maybe I don't know. Maybe not. I don't. Who
I will say this why I
is
won't
he?
drop him.
Is he
Yeah.
a better player fantasy wise than maybe a playing Hassan Whiteside?
Yes. Yes. I believe he's still a better fantasy player. Look at the numbers. Yeah, it's not the numbers we want. But one category I have, as I wrote, that it's been consistent except for today, was the blocks.
Yeah,
So
the
we
blocks
know
are there.
there's value there. Rebounds, he's not 12, 13 rebounds, but I mean it's there. So if you have
But
rebounds and
that's going to be the problem. I think with a lot of managers, because the expectation was it's not just going to be blocks, right? If you you know
yeah,
if
true.
yeah, the rebounds is a crucial reason why many managers would pick him in the first
Yeah.
place. So I
But
think that's going to be the challenge for Stewart. If he doesn't get like 9, let's put it at 8 or 9 rebounds. what's he averaging? I don't think he's averaging 9 rebounds or
I
8.
think he's around seven. It's around seven-ish, somewhere there. I think it's not bad. He profiles as a low end center, so I won't drop him even in standards. I will say though that if it doesn't work for you, the blocks doesn't work for you, you don't need it as much, it's not valuable to your team. There are managers who would think he's a buy low. There will be managers who I need blocks, so this guy works for me. You can still extract some value out of him instead of dropping him. He's still a center after all. So that would be my option. I would never drop a player like Stewart who still has upside. You don't drop a player with upside even if he's not performing that well because you can extract value from him, plus a player who has 2 categories that are elite. Actually, one. Okay, 1 category that is elite. That's enough. That's enough to be able to sell him.
You can sell him. I agree. I think you won't be but obviously you can't sell him at the level wherein you drafted him. That's for sure. I don't think you can.
But pick up Olinik if he's available. Pick him up. That's for sure.
Olinik, he's the biggest fantasy pickup for a tanking team.
Yeah, I think so.
Right? I mean, if there's one player who can really benefit from a tanking team, it's this guy, Kelly Olynyk. He showed it last year with Houston, and he has the potential. He has the chance to show it again with Detroit.
But I'm just gonna say, don't drop players like Jared Vanderbilt because it was posted in our group. Don't do those things.
You don't do that.
I mean, pick him up, drop somebody else. I'm sure you have lower end players than Jared Vanderbilt for Olynyk.
Yeah. So So there, Isaiah Stewart, Mikal Bridges, another player we've always talked about. Again, I have my take about Mikal. Not really a favorite of mine when it comes to head-to-head matches.
Yeah,
even Roto. I have him in Roto. Oh, I was thinking.
No, you won't see the value in Roto. You won't see it. But
I know.
But his value is there. I mean,
no, but he's supposed to be a Roto friendly guy, right?
He is. I mean, to be able to get
through the percentages. I mean, if you look at the percentages.
Not only that, I mean, he's playing 30 plus minutes and gives you how many turnovers? That's valuable because he gives you stats without hurting you there in the turnovers. That's very, very valuable in Roto.
Yeah. So, but not really a big fan as well. Let me just segue to Chris Paul because Chris Paul has been one of the guys that we talked about before, just cruising, and I think it's really evident over the past few weeks that Chris Paul has been cruising his way. And last night, I know we talked about Darius Garland. I think the better question is: would you rather have Garland or Chris Paul at this point?
I'd rather have Garland, and not because I think Garland is a better fantasy player. Cruising with Chris Paul, even if it was cruising the past few rounds, weeks, he's still averaging the assists and the steals are there. Yeah. The stats are close.
You just missed the sometimes you miss out on the big the scoring, a few rebounds here and there, or the more frequent double-digit assists games. Yeah, right?
But the assists are still good.
He's not bad. I'm not complaining about Chris Paul being bad. It's just that I feel that he's just cruising. The numbers are not something that you would want for a player you pick maybe on the 3rd round. You'd want a little more, maybe. And in terms of the counting stats.
That's why, you mentioned Garland. Even DeJounte, I would rather have DeJounte Garland over Chris Paul. Of course, I would rather have LaMelo. We've talked about it way before that. Yeah. I wanted LaMelo over Chris Paul when they were still this close before LaMelo became whatever. So I'd want a lot of players, the stud point guards over Chris Paul, just for the situation that they're in right now. And maybe a player who I would be thinking twice is Jrue Holiday.
If you ask me if Drew or Chris Paul, Drew is injured again. He's out for the past few games, COVID, and now the ankle. So he's been out for a while. If he's healthy,
that's interesting, right? He was out for COVID. Now he has some ankle injury.
Yes.
How did he get that? But yeah, you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be closer. I would be, and another player, Tyrese Haliburton, who's also in COVID protocols, by the way. That is closer.
I
for
think
me.
those three are closer together, and DeJounte and Garland has moved up higher. I think they moved past Chris Paul, they moved past Drew, because usually these are the guys that come together or pick earlier than or valued more than DeJounte.
That's a question for you. Who would you rather own going forward? Would it be Haliburton or would it be Chris Paul? I think Drew is still lower. So I think it's the two of them are close in the rankings. Chris Paul and Haliburton, if you look at the rankings, they're actually side by side. So it's surprising, but it's
and their game are pretty much similar.
Yes.
The stat set that they give. Of course I'd pick Haliburton just for the youth.
Yeah, you pick Haliburton. So that might be controversial for some
Chris
people.
Paul is old, all right? Let's face it. I know he's still good, but the mere fact that he's 36, I don't think people would pick Chris Paul over Haliburton.
No, a lot of people will. A lot of people will.
Really?
A lot of people will.
Moving forward, right? Are you talking about
not next season? Just this season, not next season. Just for the rest of the season. Who would you rather own going forward, Haliburton or Chris Paul? I think majority would still pick Chris Paul just for the name value. The name value.
I'd probably pick Haliburton.
The round he was picked, but yeah, you picked Haliburton. I might pick Haliburton also by a little margin. For one, Chris Paul hasn't gotten COVID yet. That's one. Haliburton
I think he's gotten it already before.
That doesn't count. I mean, this season already is in the fourth month, and he hasn't gotten it. He's bound to get it, as we said, and he hasn't missed a game this season at all, which is ridiculous. We're talking about his age, but he's the guy that hasn't missed a game, but he will miss a game soon. So that's why I think law of averages. I'd rather go Haliburton. I think he might be healthier down the stretch.
Yeah. I'll go Haliburton. I like the way Haliburton has been playing for the past few weeks. Andrew Wiggins is a worry player. Well, today without Steph, without Clay, he should have been the third guy, or at least the main guy. But I think at this point, really, when Steph and Clay are out, I think it's really Jordan Poole and then Andrew Wiggins. I think Andrew Wiggins is more of that, supporting cast type of guy at this point in his career. I don't think he's really the main stud right now, scoring wise.
But Wiggins, I think, has more value than Jordan Poole. Yeah. I mean,
for Golden State system.
Yes. Even in fantasy, I'm talking about fantasy. He should be probably the third best fantasy player in Golden State over Clay this season. But so far since Clay returned, he has been bad, and he's gonna start the All-Star game. He better be good. He's gonna make his first All-Star game this year, so he better be good. He's number 3 in the forward list in the West, and by a big margin also. So
I haven't really been noticing about Andrew Wiggins' stats, but one thing I really just like about Wiggins is that he's a more durable type of guy.
Yeah,
he rarely misses games given the mileage that he has as well. He should be okay. I think maybe the Clay thing is an adjustment period for them. Plus, without everything a lot, we don't. We might be underestimating the value of Draymond, but everything runs around Draymond.
Yeah. That's true.
Goes around Draymond. And if you can see Golden State, everyone suffers without Draymond. Even Steph suffers without Draymond.
But interestingly with Andrew Wiggins is that, some players that are lower than him, let's say RJ Barrett, let's say Kyle Kuzma, These guys, Tyler Hero, these guys have been playing well. So if you're gonna ask me whether I'd rather have those guys over him, I would think yes. I would think yes. I would have those guys. Again, situation matters for me. For me, Wiggins really gets a step down because of the pecking order, because of Steve Kerr's system, because of the rotation and everything. These other guys that I mentioned, they also have some categories that they're elite at. Kuzma's rebounds, Tyler Hero's, scoring really has been elite this year. They have a solid role, which for me, maybe Jeremy is correct. You don't really know what Wiggins does. What
you don't notice,
Yeah, maybe 18 points, 5 rebounds, 6 rebounds, something like that. Those are good numbers, but would make a
those are boring
difference.
Numbers. Good but boring. I mean, Wiggins is that type of fantasy player. I mean, he might be good, but he's probably going to be boring for many because he won't give you those 10 15 rebound games. Or I mean, fantasy managers love players who can give you 15 rebounds. That's why we love Jared Vanderbilt. That's why we love Darius Garland, because of those 14. I say we don't care about those 6-7 turnovers of Darius Garland.
And that goes back to the usage. That's why as a fantasy manager, you have to study the usage rates of players. You have to study that. And RJ Barrett's usage, Kyle Kuzma's usage, Tyler Hero's usage, they just blow Andrew Wiggins' usage out of the water, and that's just the system. That's just a situation they're at. So I'd rather have those guys. Yeah.
And given that Wiggins is really not a per minute stud when it comes to racking up those stats, it's gonna be a challenge. Yeah, but I think he'll be fine. I think he can bounce back a bit. That's my thinking. When everyone gets back healthy, Mike Conley, another worry player.
And they have a back-to-back tomorrow. I guess he's not gonna. And there's no news yet, but I think he's not gonna play this week 14. It's the same situation. The last day of the week and the first day of the next week, he also has a back-to-back. So it's just irritating, and he's not performing.
Well, we kind of expected it. I mean,
but when you're in this kind of situation already, week 13, week 14, week 15, you need the wins. And you hope that when he plays, he gives you consistent 20 points, 8 assists, or maybe those things, and then he gives you 8 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists today. It's annoying. It's just annoying. Sometimes I don't know if it's worth it. It's worth
The last player in the worry list is Richaun Holmes, but let's not talk about Richaun Holmes. He just got back. Let's cut him some
Come
slack.
on, 0 rebounds. What's wrong with him? What's wrong with him?
Me is to Steph, and Komish is to Richaun Holmes.
I don't know what happened. Someone zapped his powers all of a sudden. He was so good for the early part of the season.
Well, we'll see. Injuries got in the way. I have Richaun Holmes in our dynasty league, and that's the only Richaun Holmes I have. We'll have to wait. We'll just have to wait. He's playing now. So let's see how that goes in the next few weeks. By players, Bones Highland, Jonathan Kuminga, some rookies. Could be streams. I mean, these guys probably be good streams, short-term solutions in case you're having
I'm intrigued with Kuminga. I just want to talk about him a little bit. Draymond is out for, as we said, 2 weeks. I didn't expect Kuminga to overtake Juan Toscano Anderson, who was starting before for Draymond. Now it's Otto Porter. But Kuminga is getting 30 plus minutes the past few games. And, this guy can play. And he
can score.
And he can defend. He can get the defensive stocks also. So if he's going to get 30 minutes, I'm interested in Kuminga. Especially in 14-team leagues. He's worth a flyer. He's a good rookie. He dropped, but he's a good rookie. And we know rookies can take time before they get into the groove. So he might go into a run here. So he has potential. So I like Kuminga. as a flyer pick right now at this stage of the season.
If you want, if you need some, some players to stream, because it's getting thinner. The free agent pool is getting thinner. Some of the waiver wire ads are either not as good or worthy of holding on to, or they've been worthy of holding on to that some managers just didn't drop them anymore. So other buy recommendations, Terrence Davis played well. I had some I was thinking of picking Terrence Davis in one of our leagues. I think it was an 18-team league or but I missed out. So
Terrence Davis started for Tyrese Haliburton, who is in COVID protocol, who might be out for the week. So if you have Tyrese, you may want to add Terrence Davis. The thing is, Davis doesn't have a game tomorrow and on Wednesday. They don't have a game for first 2 days. That's why I didn't add him yet. There's no point holding on to
I think the next game is on the 20th, I think.
On Thursday. Yeah. That's still on Thursday. So that's the only knock on Terrence Davis. But he should be added when, he could be streamed when Haliburton is out. He scores well. He steals the ball. He shoots threes. Short term, he should be good. If you own Hali, especially, you pick him up.
Who else?
Otto Porter.
JaVale McGee.
JaVale McGee also.
Without Ayton, JaVale could be the guy. Also, I think we still, if Ayton misses time, we still have to keep a close eye on maybe Jalen Smith, because he played really well. He's the Phoenix's version of Omer Yurtseven.
Yes. I was just gonna say that. That's the only thing worrying me right now is that McGee is healthy, Bismack is there. So maybe Jalen doesn't get the same run as he did when Ayton went down with COVID protocols the first time out. But I still feel that, he's worth an ad. Jalen Smith is worth an ad. JaVale McGee is worth an ad.
Yeah, the only reason why I think, Jalen could have some good value here is because JaVale rarely plays more than 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So, JaVale is just a per minute monster when it comes to fantasy.
And you have to remember Cameron Johnson is also out. He hasn't played for a week with his sprain. So Jalen has been playing some power forward. Now, if both Cameron and Ayton will miss at least the next few games, that's worth the stream. Jalen Smith.
Just keep an eye. I think the pecking order would be JaVale first, and then
then Jalen.
Then if Jalen plays good minutes in their first game, you can stream him. I mean, this is not a long-term ad. It's just a streaming for streaming purposes.
They did start Jalen Smith the last time out and then put JaVale off the bench. But any which way, I think
that's also what I'm kind of expecting. Jalen would start and then JaVale off the bench. Because again, history has it that JaVale doesn't play starters minutes. He doesn't do that. 20 minutes is a lot. Yeah, he's just really good per minute. Other players, Otto Porter, Kevon Looney, with the Golden State Warriors finning, these guys could be worth some streams. Not really the most exciting streamers. If you want an exciting streamer, maybe Jalen Noel could be the guy that you want to pick up.
Jalen, I put him there. I've been watching him. He's good.
Yeah,
he's been getting 17 to 20. That's not good enough. I know. It's not 70 to 20 minutes. It's not good enough. But I'm watching him. If it ever comes to a point where Malik Beasley suddenly, loses minutes to Jalen Noel, Jalen goes to 25 to 28, he is gonna be a good fantasy.
I mean, 16 team. I think 16 team and 18 team. Maybe Jalen could be a pickup.
Maybe 18 team. 16 team. Yeah, maybe if you're down a lot of players already, you could stream him for the short term. Look see where it goes. So Noel. But another player I mentioned there is LaMarcus.
Yeah, I was just put LaMarcus last because these are, LaMarcus one player who's been dropped because of injury, and like we said yesterday, some of you guys if you have the luxury of stashing some of these players, then go ahead and maybe pick them up, like LaMarcus, Caruso. Well, Caruso, I think, is about to play. Nance,
on Thursday also.
Nance has been dropped a lot.
Nance, I would wait and see. I feel like Nance is a hit or miss. He when he comes back, I don't know the role will be there. Covington is playing very well. Little is playing well, so he's not gonna be affected by the Dame Lillard thing anyway. But with LaMarcus, he will be minutes restriction. I predict for a time. So this is not a home run pick. This is not a pick that when you pick him now, since he's coming back, he's gonna be like 20 points right away. I don't think that will happen yet. You have to be patient with LaMarcus. It might pay off because Durant is out. They might go big. They might change the rotation a bit, so they might need him. They might need him to score.
I mean,
they don't have any other players.
If he gives you 3 good weeks, that's already a solid pick for you guys. If you pick him off the waiver, feel good players, a bunch of stuff. Maybe let's just talk about Devin Booker and Donovan Mitchell. The other guys, Nikola Jokic, Gobert, Karl Anthony Towns. We really are high on them. They're probably the safest players to own at this point. Devin Booker and Donovan Mitchell. Well, surprisingly, Devin Booker has been good. I'm a bit surprised because he's been consistently good so far.
I didn't know if it was in a quickie or in my Facebook post that I said that I think Booker is gonna go on a run, right? He's gonna go on a run.
Yeah,
and
you mentioned that. You mentioned that before. Yeah. So I said that I was thinking of trading him.
Yeah.
Before.
And it comes hand in hand with Chris Paul's cruising. Also, Chris Paul's scoring is really down this year. Yeah. That's easy to see. Now Ayton has been in and out, as Jeremy said. Unlike before, where Ayton has been, 82 games, 80 games consistently playing. This year, I don't know if he gets to 55 with so many games missed. So Booker is the constant there. He's been steady. He's the alpha dog in scoring. So yeah, he gets a boost, especially right now with the situation in Phoenix.
Yeah, and the question you posted is that would you rather have Donovan Mitchell or
Donovan?
I still have Donovan. Still Donovan.
I posted the rank of Donovan there. I don't know if you saw it.
I wasn't able to go.
What do you think what is his rank? You'll be surprised.
13?
Somewhere there. He's actually 12.
Yeah.
Whether you use Yahoo has him 11 per game. Totals 12 per game. Hashtag what's the other site that has the rankings also? Basketball Monsters site has him at 17. So he's still, still really high. I don't think people notice that he's a second rounder, close to a first round value this year, and and dependable.
He could, next year he could replace the place of Jimmy Butler in the drafts. I mean,
possible. I mean, Butler's good. But
Butler's good, but with the experience of a lot of managers with Butler so far this year, unless he really,
Butler is fifth though. Butler is fifth per game, but I don't know in totals.
I mean, like the injury history. I mean, it's not just this year.
Really
right?
bad.
Butler's not just this year, but I just sense that at some point he might just replace Butler just because of the reliability.
If Donovan plays for New York or Miami, I believe his ranking would be different. I mean, his the how people look
different
at him,
good or different bad?
Good, different good. I mean, right now Utah, Donovan, okay. I mean, people are just not excited about owning a Donovan Mitchell.
Who's excited about Utah? No one's excited about Utah.
Well, I mean,
even their best player is not exciting enough, right? I mean, we know he's really good, Rudy Gobert, but I mean, their best fantasy player, Rudy Gobert, he's really good, but yeah, we haven't really talked about him as much because we kind of expected it. We kind of, well, what can you say about Rudy Gobert?
They're like China in the Asian basketball. I mean, they're just they're good, and what each one will do. They will not surprise you.
Yeah.
So sometimes it removes the thrill. Waking up. Will he play good? Will he score this? Will he do this? You just know that he's gonna get 15 rebounds, 3 blocks.
Yeah. That's how Utah is. I mean, I guess the biggest surprise for many managers would be maybe, Clarkson not as good this year.
Clarkson?
Yeah.
Well, if you listen to us, you've known that we told you about Clarkson for a long time. He's really not. We love him here in the Philippines, but
fantasy-wise,
not
really a fantasy-friendly game.
But there are surprises. Joe Ingles is really bad this year, for one.
Yeah.
And then Bojan's not bad this year. I mean, Bojan's fantasy, not really very, very, what do you call this?
He's not a fantasy-friendly player. He's just a scoring machine.
Actually, he's not about fantasy-friendly. He's not popular among the fantasy experts community. But this year,
he's more about the scoring, right?
Yes, but this year
surprised me about the other stats.
Well, I mean, he's really good this year. He's done the efficiency, has improved. So
True.
top 100 guy this year. So that surprised me. Well, a lot of our pre-notions about players have changed this year. Like Cole Anthony, Miles Bridges, even RJ Barrett lately has been playing much better. So, it just shows that in fantasy, you look at the numbers. Don't look at the name of the player. Don't look at the name of the player. Just look at the numbers.
Yeah, the numbers and the trend. I just, think that, if you look at it, what's the trend? Are they getting minutes? Watch, maybe if you have the chance or the luxury to do it, watch a few games. Are they good enough to really stay there where they are? I mean, as the starter, Cole Anthony for one, if you look at the stats, maybe last year, you'd say, he probably won't be good enough. But if you maybe watch him, he's feisty, he's resilient, maybe that could change your mind, right? So those things, that's very hardcore fantasy discussion. I mean, if you're looking into watching players game just because of fantasy, that's hardcore fantasy for you guys. Just one quick thing I want to ask you. There's a trade right now in one of the leagues. It's Dame for Kevin Porter Jr.
Oh my God. Wow.
It's so hard to...
No, that's a pass. That's okay. That's okay.
Value Dame at this point. But
are you asking me if it's a veto?
Well, that of course, obviously, the value-wise will not be there. That's really far off. But yeah, I mean, the risk-reward though, the risk though with Dame, I don't sense that it should be vetoed. I don't think it should be vetoed. But yeah, I mean, if that it doesn't look like that Dame owner who's trading away Dame cares at this point who he gets, as long as he gets someone with value.
No, that's smart. That's actually a smart move. As I said, as you said, it's hard to value Dame nowadays.
Yeah.
And I told you I got offers of Monte Morris, of lower end players. So actually, KPJ has a bit as a kind of player that even if we hate him, so inefficient, and fantasy managers and even real life fans are down on him. He's young. He has upside, right?
Yeah. I mean, and if you think about it, other than maybe the turnovers, the numbers that he can give would probably be the numbers Dame has been giving at his worst, right? I mean, the worst Dames that we saw this year.
True.
It's kind of close. I mean, he wasn't shooting well. He wasn't scoring much. At least, the upside could be there for KPJ. I mean, I don't. Yeah.
I don't know who offered the deal, though. I don't know who initiated that deal. It's interesting to know who. I don't know. It's interesting to know who approached who. But Dame...
the manager of Dame posted in the group chat that he is trading Dame.
Okay.
So,
maybe
most likely it's the other manager who offered. That's just my thinking because he put Dame up for sale.
It's smart on both ends. For me, it's smart on both ends. I mean, if you're the Dame owner, you're looking for a player in the sweet spot. Someone the other owner would be willing to give up. Yeah. But someone that still has
upside.
Potential. Yeah. So that's very smart. And on the other end, it's also smart for the KPJ owner. Maybe KPJ is hurting him, in turnovers or field goal. Now, removing him from the equation, putting Dame there, even if you just park him in the IL spot, might already help your team.
Yeah.
Now you have a ace of whatever on your back pocket. You might be able to activate it and win your league. So that's very smart on both ends. I like that deal. Very good.
So just putting out there just to see what type of deals you can get for Dame, and if it's smart enough or if it's good enough for you. I wasn't really keen on vetoing it because like you said, anything can happen. If I veto it and Dame suddenly doesn't play, I mean the hard work of those two managers would be down the drain, right? I mean the Dame owner is trading Dame for the reason of he doesn't want to take on the risk, and if we veto it, it's not easy to trade a player. To trade, guys. So that's
the perfect trade for Dame. That's the perfect trade. It's not vetoable. For me, it's not vetoable. It's a good deal. It's a good deal.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, that's it for our quickie this evening. Early games tomorrow. What's up tomorrow? Why are there early games?
I don't know also. I've been thinking about that. I don't know if there's a holiday.
Is it a Martin Luther King thing or?
Oh yeah, maybe it's the MLK Day. Maybe. Yeah. Is it?
So
I don't know, but maybe
early games, guys. So I think this, if you catch this quickie, some games might be over, or some games will be about to start. So hope you enjoyed it. Hope this one helped, and we'll see you again tomorrow, guys. Keep safe. Bye.